Morning, everybody. It's about 10:30 Monday morning. I am on my way to a little place called Hutchinson's. It's an electronics parts store. They are incredible. They should be able to source the parts that I need. I'm bringing the board with me so that I can talk to some of the guys behind the counter about it. They are a small family-owned store. Hutch, like H-U-T-C-H and Son. They're not comfortable. They're not big on the whole internet thing because they're locally owned, and I don't think they understand the impact that social media can have. So you could check out their website, but I don't think I'll be able to film in the store. Once I get done at Hutch, I'm going to run over to one of the big box stores and just pick up the plug for the big 220 bandsaw back there. So just gonna do a little running this morning. I'll keep you guys posted, show you what I'm able to get, or let you know if I'm able to get it. My guess is Hutch will probably have to order the parts for me since they're so specific, but that's okay. They're over by where I work. I can pick them up one day on the way home, so I'll keep you guys posted. Good news, guys. I am in the parking lot of the store. They had everything I needed in stock. My guess was there's a little device called a varistor, and it's supposed to protect against electrical overload. And when they did some testing, the guys here are pretty knowledgeable. They pulled their meter out, did some testing. The only component that tested bad on the board was the varistor. Now I went ahead and bought that plus a resistor, and the reason I bought a resistor is it is right next to that varistor on the board, and it was black, so I couldn't tell if it got burned or not. It tested out with 5 ohms of resistance, which is what it should have, but just in case I bought it, it was only, under like a quarter. And then they had a brand new fuse for me, so I don't know if I need that or not, but I've got it all just in case. And I bought some wire solder because I have silver solder, and that dang silver solder, it takes a long time to melt. This wire solder melts a lot quicker. It does have lead in it, so you don't want your kids around. You want to wash your hands after you use it. Don't want to breathe the smoke, but it will allow me to more easily solder these components onto the board, and I won't get those big globs that I've been getting with that silver solder. So I'm pretty excited about that. First thing I'm gonna do is change the varistor and test it out again, and hopefully things work. Right now we're on our way to the hardware store. Let's go get a plug for that bandsaw. Went out to Menards, the local big box store, and I was looking for a wall outlet. Some of you guys suggested on that bandsaw maybe just trying to buy an outlet that fit the plug because it would be cheaper. So I thought, man, that's a great idea, and I'm all about saving money. So I got to looking at wall plugs. They were 38 bucks for the wall plug that matches that that outlet that I have, or that plug that I have. So I got to looking, and it turned out it was $19. I could buy a 30 amp plug and a 30 amp wall outlet together. So well they were separate but matching, and they look like the kind you use on a dryer. Here's a kind of a photo of the plug. You can see that it's a 30 amper, and then I would have had to buy with the other one, it was just the outlet. I would have then had to buy a box. Well, this one came with the matching box, so I've got what I need. I believe I have a 30 amp breaker at home. I think that's what the dust collection is running off of. I'm keeping my fingers crossed that I do. I know I have several square D breakers at home, so worst case scenario, just to test this, get it running, I could use 220 amps and run 2 20 amp single breakers as opposed to a dipole or a double 30 amps. So we'll see what happens when we get home. I hate to leave without buying one, but man, I hate to shoot another 20 bucks for a breaker just to have to bring it back, because sometimes they're funny about taking electrical components back. So in this way here, I'm not into it all that deep. I'll just basically unwire all this and sell it with the saw because I personally don't need it. What I'm hoping is if I don't unbox the plug, I'm thinking, I need to check, I think I have a dryer plug that has that same pattern on it. We're going to find out when we get home. Sorry to talk so much. I'm just kind of keeping you guys posted on what's going on. But I'm heading back home now. I'm going to verify that I do have some shop time today. And if I do, we're going to get out and work on the lathe and the bandsaw. I'm back home and I'm ready to start working on this lathe again. I do believe that the varistor is the problem. There it is right there. And its job is to blow when you have a surge of electricity to kind of keep the board from getting further damage. I also purchased a couple resistors. Whoops, about dropped them there. I don't think this one's bad. We tested it and I got a little over 5 ohms across it, which is what I should get. And this was a little bit of a mistake. I didn't look before I left the store. The gentleman actually sold me a 15 amp fuse, and I need a 5 amp. So I'm hoping the varistor's the issue. We're going to replace that first and then test. I also picked up a little wire solder. I have silver solder, and this should do a little better job for me. The silver solder is a little bit tough. It takes a long time to really melt. This should melt a little bit quicker. All in all, I think it'd be a better choice. So let's get busy. Well, guys, I'm not having a whole lot of luck with this lathe board. What I'm finding is I can test the components. Most of them I can test, with a little bit of resistance across the contacts. And I'm seeing something, which means the component is working. What's weird, though, is I'm not getting any power back here. These 4 little prongs here, that's the power out to the lathe. I'm not getting any power to those. And that means that something's got to be screwed up. The only thing I really haven't checked is that integrated controller, that IC chip on there. I'm not exactly sure how to check that. I'm going to have to do a little research on that one. Possibly I burned up that integrated controller chip. I don't know. But for some reason, I've got power in. When it's plugged up, I can test. I can see power at the switch. I can turn it on, off. I can see the power, stop and start. I'm just not getting output power. So it's going to take a lot more brain power than I have right now and a lot more research. So we're going to work on that. I did not get a chance to work on the saw today just because it's New Year's Eve and we do have some plans. So I'm going to call it quits in the shop, head in and get ready to go out with the family and have a nice New Year's Eve. I'd like to wish each and every one of you a very happy and healthy New Year's Eve and a very prosperous new year. So you guys take care, and I'll see you hopefully a whole lot in the coming year.